Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Now Experts Time channel. In this channel, we have a various topics with respect to ServiceNow, uh, tips, tricks, business solutions, technical shortcuts. Everything it is available. When you have a time, you just explore and try to use in the business landscape. I hope it will be helpful for your real system. So, what we are going to discuss about today's session. So, in the past session, we discussed about the CMDB maturity approaches. What are all the approaches currently we have, how we can apply it. That message we discussed in the last channel, last video. The continuation of this video, what are all the configurations area we need to focus it. So, these are all the four approaches we discussed. You please refer what is helping, what it is supporting in the business system. So, this will help you. In today's session, what are the configuration rules we need to focus in the CMDB side, that we can discuss about it. So if you see in the system, there are 9 items from a greenfield or brownfield related implementation, and the remaining 6 configuration which is part of your governance aspect. So this is not only for a greenfield and brownfield item. So for example, you have a system and it is already implemented, and you want to improve the CMDB maturity, then you need to cross verify these are all the configurations is correct, currently active, currently configured in the right format. That check you need to do it. If something it is present, something it is not present, identify that something it is not present and try to configure that new item in the system. Something it is present that is not working fine, you need to fine tune that configurations and you need to activate 100% in the system. That we need to focus it. Governance side, it is pretty much important because your day to day activity, housekeeping activity, everything we can do with the help of this governance aspect. This governance aspect also we can handle via this policy configurations, etc. Okay, now we can go one by one item and we can check where it is available in the system, how to check, etc. in the demo point of view. The first one, that identification rule. So identification rule, everyone knows. So if data it is coming from third party to your service now, so the third party to your service now, what are all the way it will come? Point number one, it can come via discovery, or it can come via service mapping, or it can come from your service graph connectors, or it can come from based on your custom integrations with your third party system. So these are all the four channels currently available to bring the CI from your infra system to your service now. So when you bring the CI, that CI when it is entering from third party to service now, so that time that CI it's a new CI or a existing CI. How to identify the system? Because system side always we need to give the instruction so that system can obey it. So how we can give the instruction based on this rule configurations? We can give the instruction. So when you talk about this identification is helping to identify the CI is already present into the system or not. In case if it is already present in the system, then it should update the CI. In case if it is not present into the system, then we need to create the CI. That's the key message or crux message in this identification rule. So when you talk about this identification rule, uh, there is identification concepts are available in your class manager. There you need to do a configuration. Just we can go there into the system. Let's see how it is helping here. So if you logged into the home page, in your left navigation pane, type class manager. So remember, when you talk about this CMDB things, first action you need to log in your class manager. So this class manager is mainly helping to streamline your CI process, governance model, clearly in the system. Just give me a minute, I'm trying to logging in. Just wait for a few more minutes, it'll come. So when you go to this class manager part, this class manager, it contain information about your a proxy or a correct CI related configurations. So all CI configurations you need to do via this class manager capability. Just give me a minute, I'm just refreshing the screen. Yes, so I logged into the class manager. Here you can see what all the classes are currently available. It will be available, it will be there in this class manager part. So when you talk about this class manager, I can give you a clear cut information. Almost 1400 and plus classes, out of box classes are currently available in the system. That 1400 plus classes, it may increase, it depends the plugins what you have activated in the system. If it is a plain vanilla, you used only the ITSM related components in the landscape, then only 1400 plus classes will be available in the system. So you know this, yeah, these items we are considering as a table. Front side it is a form, back side it is a table. When you talk about this form it having a field it having a choices, field it having a some datas, correct? So the same approach it is followed into the database view. So when you talk about the system, there are two view we need to see it. One is front view, another one is back view. When you talk about this front view, that we call it as user interface. User interface always we call it as forms. So in CI terminology, we call it as, instead of form, we are talking as classes. And inside the classes, we have a fields. That fields we call it as attributes. But in backend, how we are call it as the form, we call it as table. The attributes are fields. We call it as a rows and columns, etc. So the same terminology, it's very simple terminology, but the naming convention you need to be very careful here. So that will create some confusion. What is mean by attribute, what is mean by non-discoverable attribute, discoverable attribute. So that terminology you need to be very clear. That is funda when you learn this CMDB. So remember those points. So now I'm just going for one classes. So there are many classes are there. If you go to, if you are a technician, then you need to go to your table definition. In this table definition you type star CMDB underscore, then what are all the tables are currently available, everything it will be exist. For example, I just showcase. If I go here tables, so under system definition you just go to the tables here. In your column name, most of the CMDB table, how it will start us, it will start via star CMDB underscore CI. This is the way it will start. So if you hit enter, then what it will do, almost 1200 plus 1300 tables are associated here. What are all the tables you are talking, all tables are accessible in this class manager. So managing all CI classes, that's the meaning. So if you go to the server, there are a parent clause is there. If you click this, then it will go to the inside server related information. So remember, when you see or when you click this servers, if you refer that URL, for example, the CMDB CI server we are talking. So that CMDB CI server table name, it will display in this URL. So you can clearly visualize it. So when you click anything from your user interface, that anything it is pointing to your table only. So you need to be very carefully listen that URL part. That URL part, it must contain that table name, like a backend table name. So if you go here, this is a front end table name, this one is a backend table name. So this backend table name, definitely it will display in this URL. You can clearly sense it, this is part of which table. So this table, it is clear here. If you go, first thing is identification rule. So identification rule, what we discussed is whether I need to create a CI or I need to update a CI. To answer this question, this identification rule, it is mainly helping. So here out of box related identification, it's already available, you can use it. For some reason this is not sufficient for your business landscape, then you can create a new also. So create a new, you just click this replace, and what item you are expecting, then you can configure this information. So it's pretty straightforward. So if you click this, then you can understand what it is helping here. So this is a standard one. This is standard, it is applicable for a hardware table, and these are all the attributes are present, then it will take a responsibility whether I need to update a CI, that decision it will take. The similar way it will work like this. So you can change based on your business requirement. This is pretty straightforward, so no need to go to the deeper. So you guys already have a good experience with this part. So it's pretty straightforward, you can do it. Second part, if I go back here, next is a reconciliation rule. Reconciliation rule also, you can come here in this CI class manager, there is an option called reconciliation rule. Why what is a crux message of this reconciliation rule is very simple. You have a multiple data sources mean source 1, source 2, source 3. So source 1, source 2, source 3, it's bringing the data to service now. So when it is coming the data from your source 1, source 2, source 3, in which order I need to give the priority, that's the key message we are talking. For example, server name, I'm just saying an example here. Server name, it is coming from your source 1, source 2, source 3 to service now. Okay. At a time the data it is coming means, uh, what basis I need to give a priority. First priority, I need to allow to update that server name source 1. Once it is done, then I need to give the priority to server 2. Then I need to give the priority to server 3, sorry, source 3. So source 1 it is starting, and source 3 it is ending. So source 1 it presents x means source 2 it will present that information x1. Source 3 it will present an information as an x2. So the last value what you can see is x2. So x2 it is updated by source 3. So one value, one attribute, it can be updated multiple data sources. When you talk about one attribute it is updated multiple data sources, then I need to give the priority to the system. Because one time the three data sources it is bringing the data, system will confuse. System doesn't know which one I need to allow first, which one I need to allow second, which one I need to allow third. That instruction we are giving via this reconciliation rule. So using this reconciliation rule, that multiple data sources are handled very effective manner. So here reconciliation rule already available in the system. So you can take the existing one. For some reason if it is not sufficient, you can create it. So here the add button is there, you just click the add button and you can configure it. Static and dynamic reconciliation rule. So dynamic reconciliation rule, it is pretty much simple and a newer feature from Yokohama version, Zurich version and the Australia version. But most of the time we used only the static reconciliation rule. We discuss about the dynamic reconciliation rule in separate session. So currently what you are configuring, those are all very static reconciliation rule. So those static reconciliation rule you can configure via this adding a click button. So give the attributes. So attributes name is serial number. It is applicable to the server table. And it is based on your dynamic rule called first reported. So just click this edit, then you can understand what it is representing. So dynamic rule type, first reported, most reported, last reported. So which one is required for your requirement, you just select this item any one, and select the attribute, which attribute we are talking about. So is it I said example for a server name. Similar way, what are all the fields you have in your business environment, those field you just move left to right. And this is applicable for all CIs or a specific CIs. Here I put only for operational CIs. If it is a non-operational CIs also, you can create it. So it's very simple configuration. You can create a n number of configurations for this reconciliation rule. So it's very simple and straightforward. To understand more, you just take a out of box one, try to understand why it is configured, what is the reason it is configured. Similar type, you take those item as a reference, and similar type of configurations you can enable based on your understanding. So identification rule, whether that CI is present or not, that message or instruction we are giving to the system, Based on the instruction, system will understand whether I need to update or create. In case update means in what basis I need to take a priority. So that clarity we are defining in this identification rule. Next, reconciliation rule. If you have a multiple data sources, the multiple data sources are updating a value into the same field. In which order I need to consider, that instruction we are giving via reconciliation rule. This is pretty straightforward. Next, recommended and required field, where I can see. So first thing is recommended and required field scenario. We discuss about the required field. Required field means how we can make this field as a required field or required attribute. What are all the ways currently we have is very simple. If you go to your tables, sorry, for example, you talk about the server table. Currently I'm in outer box, so I don't have any mandate field now. So I can go for an incident for a sample understanding here. Okay, I do one thing. I directly, it's taking so much of time. I take one incident here. So if I take one incident here, one of the field, it's like a mandate. How this field is uh, make as a mandate. So you see, for example, caller is a mandate field. If you see this caller, then what we can do is if you go to the configure dictionary, in this configure dictionary there is a field called, there is a configuration called mandatory. So it's a mandatory, it's a checkbox. That mandatory field we are enabling as a important one. So see here, this is a mandatory field. This mandatory field if you are enabling, then this field is mandate. So we are completely defining this field is mandate in the table level. So currently it is managed using our UI policy. So there are various options are there. Either you can come to this incident is an example, but similar way if you go to the server table, in the server table also it'll show like the same view. So you can directly make this field as mandatory, then you are setting this field is a required field. This is one way. And the similar way, another approach is, if you go to your UI policy, inside the UI policy you can create a configuration. Based on the condition you can ensure this field is mandate. That is a second approach. Next, third approach is data policy. So data policy means there is a configuration is already available. So you can go and configure when the data it is coming into the system, ServiceNow system, in what basis you are looking that field as mandate, you can configure it. So these are all the three approaches are available to ensure these attribute or this field as a mandate field. Either you can go via that mandatory using the dictionary. Second, either you can define this field as mandatory with the help of UI policy. Third, either you can define this field is mandatory with the help of your data policy. So you can set any one and you can define it. Mainly that that means UI policy oriented will not support you. Either you just go to this mandatory option using a configure dictionary, otherwise you should go for a data policy. Anyone you need to select it. So now I'm going back to here. So here you can go and extend that 1 minute, that completeness field. So required field means I just explained it. So that's the way you are going to handle the required field. Now recommended field. So if these fields are like should have, so normally right, must have, should have, could have, would have, like that. So similar way, the same type of classification we can define for our data aspect also. So must have, that is representing your required field. Should have, it is representing your recommended field. So what are all the fields you are referring, these are all the fields it should have a important values in the system, means those fields you can take as a recommended field. So you can just do drag and drop or move left to right in the system. So where we can do is, if you go to your class manager, under the completeness health, under the completeness you just click it and you can configure your recommended fields what it is required by each class. So this is also pretty straightforward. You discuss and you define for each classes. Very simple. Next, audit rule. uh, so if you go to this compliance, in this compliance side there is an option called audit. So here, normally audit means what we will do, we will go to the class and we will refer that attribute, each and every attribute, and we will try to understand the value is updated properly or not. So how to handle it? For example, if you talk about the server classes, so just go here. I just put cmdb underscore ci underscore server underscore list dot do. So if I click this, then I will go for this appropriate server class, and what I will do, I will open one specific uh, ci server. So if I go, what I will do, history, then I can go to the list or calendar. For example, I'm just going for a calendar side. So here what it is representing, in this date it is updated by this person, and these are all the values are updated, everything it will be defined here. For example, this date, just give me a minute. This date, 838 2004, these are all the fields are updated, are created, and created by the person is pat. So if you scroll down slightly, what it is referring, this date it is updated. So here it shows a created by this person, and it is updated by this system. So if you expand it, these are all the two fields it is representing, it is updated by. These values are right inside that ci values, right or wrong, that clarity we can do in this search or in this calculation. So this is what we are normally doing as an auditing. So this field is having a right value or not, it is updating correctly or not, that clarity we are doing with the help of this manual intervention. Instead of that, what we are doing is we are just make it as automation part to define the auditing capability with this automation part. So it's like a configuration effort. What normally it will do is, you are defining these configurations. Based on the configuration, it will check inside the system if it is exist or not exist. How it is classifying is based on the task. Remember one point, what the system is asking to you, whether it is a success or not, whether it is working or not, everything it can be handled or tracked via tasks. So currently we are talking about cmdb, so it's a cmdb tasks. In case you have an incident is performed something, some tasks, so you are assigning some work to somebody, that somebody will work for that appropriate assigned item. That appropriate assigned item is working fine or completed or not, how we are tracking with the help of task only. The same mechanism it is followed in all modules in service. Now it is applicable to cmdb as well. So if you come here, there are already predefined tasks, I just mentioned it, predefined rule I already created. So based on the creation rule, it created a almost 37 tasks. So 37 tasks is what it is showing us, update the service servers to match the condition listed audit results. So this server I just put some conditions. So based on the conditions, it is evaluating this value, it's having a right, sorry, this ci it's having a right value or not. So if you click, then it will open the task based on the configuration. So using this task, you are auditing that particular ci. So if you come here, there is a audit related informations are there. So this is a audit type, this is a desired state. So if you click this run audit, what it will do, it will execute the schedule jobs in the background. Based on the schedule jobs, it will run the execution and creating the task. So this is a way it is creating a audit related item. So how to create this audit task is, here that certification filter are there, or certification template are there. So here I can create this certification jobs. For example, certification filter, this is applicable for all servers. First I need to define the certification filter here. So if I click this, just wait for a few minutes, so I think it's taking some time. Yeah, so here I define that condition, in what basis I need to do that auditing. Is it for all servers or a specific servers? Normally how business they will do is, each business unit, business unit 1, business unit 2, business unit 3, or department 1, department 2, department 3. So that type of auditing normally business will do. Otherwise the operational tickets, specifically they are focusing for operational CIs, or specifically they are focusing for non-operational CI. In what basis you are looking, those filter condition you can define it. So based on the filter condition, from this table it will pull the data from your system. Next, using that, there is a templates already available, so use this template and create it. For example, here if I go server minimum statistics, I have configured some item here. Just wait for a few minutes. It's loading. System is little slow. So in this server minimum statistics, I have configured few items. Using that, the audit job will execute it. What happened? Okay, so actually there's some error. I'm not sure why it is not loading. But when you click this server certification template, I'm just, instead of clicking here, I directly go to this job, and I'm referring this item. So when you click this item, I have showcased you that auditing, it's a desired state. Most of the CIs, or most of the auditing, it will show only the desired state. And this auditing one, it is based on the assignment type, it's a user field. So who is a member of that CI, owner of the CI, that person will take a responsibility for this. And you can see, when I have configured this auditing job, so it is running on demand, and I just put a health window as 7 days, and 7 days it is open. You can change daily basis or weekly basis, what basis you want, you can configure it. So what it is meaning, what it is referring here is, it is creating one of the schedule job based on your configuration, and it is executing based on your configuration on demand basis or weekly basis, what basis you are configuring, based on that it will execute it. So once the schedule jobs are configured here, and it will execute based on your configuration, and it will create the task, and the task will be assigned to the appropriate person. That appropriate person is the owner of the CI. So that person will take a complete responsibility, and they will work on it. So that's the meaning it is representing as a audit. So auditing that CI, who is owner of that CI, they can do day by day or weekly, and they are maintaining their CI as an accurate one. So this will help you in auditing aspect. This CI, it's working fine, and it is updated or correctly, and it having the right informations, everything, it will be what manipulated based on this type of activities. So this is also pretty straightforward. It will take 5 to 10 minutes to configure that. Next, orphan rules. So orphan means what is that? So there are three concepts are there, right? One is a duplicate CI, another one is a orphan CI, and another one is a stale CI. Duplicate CI, you know well. uh, for example, CI name is X, the same name it is present in the two time X CI is there, X CI two times it is there, then it is a duplicate CI. Next, orphan CI means one CI doesn't have any relationship. If there is no relationship, then it is a orphan. So some CI it is X is there, the X doesn't have a relationship with Y, the X doesn't have a relationship with Z, X, there is no relationship, it is sitting idle, then we are considering as a orphan CI. Next is stale CI. One CI present into the system, that CI it is updated 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago. After that there is no updation, so it is waiting for that update. So that CI we consider as a staleness CI. So this is a differentiating between the duplicate, orphan, and staleness CI. So to define this stale CI, if you go to the orphan rule and stale rule, so you need to go to the correctness. In this correctness area, it will come under this two configurations. Here you can go and configure your orphan rule. Orphan rule means this server needs to be connected with another system that you already know. For example, server means, in the server side what relationships are there, these are the relationships are there. So you know that relationship, this server having a connectivity with this database, this server it having a connectivity with this application. So that is maintained based on this relationship. You can configure this information. So this is what we call it as a orphan rule. Next is staleness rule. That means it is updated more than 20 days or 30 days or 60 days. That you can define it, then you can identify it. So what it is helping here is, so if you see here, completeness, it is referring a recommended field and required field. Compliance, it is referring your auditing or certify this policy. Correctness, it is referring your orphan rule and stale rule. So this is a standard item. Which system you are going, the same configuration, same methodology available in those systems. So it is a internationally recognizable and advisable this mechanism we need to follow for all system. So if you are following, what it will happen is, this will reflect in your CMDB workspace. In that CMDB workspace you have a score called completeness score, compliance score, correctness score. So using these type of configuration, it is maintaining that completeness, correctness and compliance score greater than 80%, greater than 90%, like that. So if you change this configuration, your results it will reflect in your maturity score. That means if you go to your CMDB workspace here, if you just click it, there you can see that score for these three CIs. So that reflection you can see it. Second and last part is this managed group health inclusion rules and remediation rules. So managed group means I already had a discussion in some other video. So in this some other video, there is a basic information. If you go to this class, here you can see the managed group. For example, if any uh, execution is happening via scheduled jobs, one particular team separately available, that particular team will get some tasks. Based on the task, they will fine tune that CI related accuracy. That's the meaning it is referring for a managed group. So CI related item, anything, any errors are coming, any cross verifications are required, this team will take a responsibility. That configuration we are doing in this managed group configuration side. I put a separate video for your certify policy, governance policy, so you can refer those items. Definitely it will help you. uh, those are all defined as a separate video, so you can easily understand it. Next is health inclusion rule. So if you come here, there is a down item that is called health inclusion rule. So this health inclusion rule, what it is referring is above three, what we discussed about duplicate, orphan, recommended, required, stillness, everything we are applying from left to right bucket. Then it is then it is enabled this four, not four, five item for only server class. So similar way we need to define for all other server, other CI classes. So CI accuracy, it is not a one day job. So this configuration needs to be enabled. Step number one. Step number two, based on this configuration, it is executing successfully or not. Step number three, you need to put a strong governance. And finally, wait for a 3 month transactional data or operational data and see the difference before and after. Then you can come to the conclusion your CMDB accuracy is good or bad. One common known things what I realized in my experience with other customers is major item is it shows like a completeness score, correctness score and compliance score is greater than 80. That means outside green, but inside some reds are there. That inside red, what are all they, we need to check it. Score it is populating, we cannot come to the conclusion this score it is giving a clear CMDB maturity health. Don't trust that score, because some of the gaps are there. That gaps you need to do that analysis and you need to identify it. Based on the identification, you are enabling these type of configuration, and using this configuration the task will be generated. Using the task you are resolving those problem, and when you resolving those problem, it is reflecting the result in your CMDB maturity score. This is a way it is defined into the system. Next, remediation rule. So remediation rule point of view, if you go to the CMDB workspace, specifically inside the data manager, so if you come down, So remediation rule means what it mean by, if something it is identified some problem, that problem without any manual intervention it is executed it is executed via some flow. So this flow, what it is representing is, it is representing your flow designer. So you are defining some uh, script, or you are defining some flow using our flow designer. Automatically it will resolve the problem without any manual intervention. So how to define this flow designer, that way we can see it. So if you go to the data manager here, in this data manager I have already explained this item called subflow. So this subflow, what it is referring here, what I currently discussed about this remediation rule. These all remediation rules are configured via this subflow. So these six subflows are currently available as part of your outer box. So you take this outer box workflow as a reference. Using that, you can create your own flow or subflow to remediate if the CI is having any issues. So this subflow, where it is referring is, it is referring your CMDB policies. So when you talk about this CMDB policies, it is ensuring that accuracy of the CI. So for example, I am just taking one particular CI. So if you go to this certification CI, there is a policy. First, just deactivate or view policy. In this view policy, you can do some edit, depends your action. So for example, here, uh, just give me a minute, I'm checking this. So when you are creating a policy, there is an option called remediation rule. So you can define this remediation rule because it's already created. So you just click a new and create it. Then there is an option will be displayed to remediate what are all the actions I need to do. So there you can map what you created as a subflow to resolve that CI problem if anything occurs. So this is a way we need to do it. And there is a separate options also there, some of the remediation rule related concepts. Mm, if you go data management, so there is an option available in the remediation rule point of view. Just give me a minute, I'll check. So better we can go here in the left navigation pane. So instead of searching from here, you can type the remediation. So under this remediation, you can see the CMDB remediation here. So in this CMDB remediation, so if you click this new button, and you can configure what subflow you have created for your CMDB repair or a CMDB resolution point of view, you can configure it here. So this remediation rule, it is applicable for your CMDB task. So if this CMDB tasks are created, then what I need to do, that clarity you can get it. For example, here what are all the default or out of box items are there: orphan CA remediation, recommended field remediation, remediate a duplicate task, required field remediation. So what we discussed about those, how we can remediate some of the out of box flows already there. You can select it and you can configure it which is required for your item. So uh, task type, it is an out of box one, but based on the orphan CI, what you should do from your system, that you need to create a separate flow designer and you need to call out here. So mostly it is a manual one, because out of box side there is no out of box related items are available. So you need to create, in case if you identified any orphan CIs, what I should do, that definition you can create via your custom flows. So it will run automatically without any manual intervention, and it is resolving your problem in the system. So this is a way it is running in the uh, remediation rules. So remediation rules also, it is a major part, but this remediation rule is a custom remediation side, you need to define the flow. So this 9 item, it is applicable for your green field, brown field, and your existing system side as well. Next, governance. This governance, I have explained separate videos in my channel, so you can refer it. Just high level glimpse I can give. So if you go to your CMDB manager, for example, if you go to the CMDB workspace first, then inside the CMDB workspace, here you can see data manager. inside the data manager Inside the data manager, here you can see the policies. Just create a new policy, and you can define your CMDB CI governance policy for each classes which is required. You can select it, and these are all the policy types are currently we have. Just click this policy type. So these are all the policies are there. Please refer my other video, it will explain clearly to understand more about your CMDB policies. That will help you. So the overall session, what it is representing here is configuration rules, what I need to focus to improve your existing CMDB landscape. That area we have highlighted, or we discussed in this configuration rules session. I hope this session will help you. So try to apply the logic, try to apply this configuration in your business landscape and see the magic in your system. Definitely it will support you. Thanks for your time. If you want any ServiceNow related topics, you can explore in this channel. Definitely it will support you. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your feedback. I'm getting a very good feedback from everyone. So stay tuned and subscribe this channel to learn more interesting topic from ServiceNow. Thank you. Good day and goodbye.